Well, in the first part of this series, you guys had a lot to say about the found footage genre as a whole, and it's safe to say that the vast majority of you are pretty well seasoned when it comes to horror cinema of the handheld variety. I guess that means we better do a part 2 then. Hello horror fans and welcome back to the Scariest channel on YouTube, top 5 scary videos, your go-to guide for everything worth fueling your own nightmares. As always, I'll be your horror host Jack Finch as we once again fire up the dusty old projector and take a look at the top 5 scary horror movies that were found footage, part 2. Roll the clip. Before we willingly dive into the frightful world of found footage horror, we've got to get it out of the way. You know the rules of the house by now, horror fans. If you're a fan of this video, found footage horror cinema, or just top 5 scary videos in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell so you can stay up to date with our latest and greatest uploads. Also, make sure to stick around right up until the end as I'll be reading out some of your more awesome comments from the past few days. On with the show. Kicking off at number 5, Grave Encounters. Now, you guys had a lot to say about this particular film in the first part of this series, and rightly so, because, put it this way, if every episode of Most Haunted was as awesome as this, then we'd have enough content to keep us going for the next few decades. Written and directed by the Vicious Brothers, aka Colin Minahan and Stuart Ortiz, Grave Encounters is a 2011 Canadian supernatural horror film that strikes at the vein of paranormal reality TV, which, as I mentioned previously, is a much needed antidote to the found footage genre as a whole. We as an audience need to be able to suspend our disbelief when faced with such a personal depiction of horror. Again, it strikes the question, why are they still filming? Well, this film follows Lance Preston, the charismatic host of Grave Encounters, an infamous ghost investigation TV series, and his crew as they make their way through the abandoned mental asylum Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital. What plays out is a genuinely nerve-wracking classical ghost story. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, there's not much more to the plot other than the pursuit of the paranormal and the pains that come with it. But as far as that goes, Grave Encounters does it very convincingly, and it's jammed with some genuinely uneasy moments. So much so that the Vicious Brothers have extended the Grave Encounters series and developed quite the cult following in the process. Coming in next at number 4, Devil's Pass. Now, if you're aware of the Dyatlov Pass incident, then this film will definitely strike a chord as a terrifying adaptation of the notorious unexplained mystery. For those of you not aware with the mystery, the Dyatlov Pass incident was the unsolved death of 9 ski hikers in the northern Ural Mountains in 1959, in the then former Soviet Union. To this date, their cause of death is still undetermined, and the strange occurrences surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incidents has been the imaginative spark for dozens of conspiracy theories and paranormal tales. So as far as a horror movie goes, Devil's Pass draws from some pretty impressive source material. Directed by Rennie Harlin, the man responsible for A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Devil's Pass follows the story of 5 college students who were determined to make a film about the Dyatlov mystery, and what plays out is an unnerving interpretation of the events that transpired. To be honest, if you're not a fan of conspiracy theories and government cover-ups, you might feel a bit bogged down with this film, but if you are, then Devil's Pass is a sci-fi horror heart-pounding ride through the found footage genre that's smartly made and surprisingly hilarious in parts. Next up at number 3, Hell House LLC.
What are you looking at? Holy got me, man. Alright, weirdo.
I went into this film with 0 expectations and was terrifyingly surprised at how bloody good it was. If you're a fan of The House's October Built, which was featured on our first list, then you'll find all of the same tropes in Hell House, but with more emphasis on the documentary style meta world building that found footage is so well built for. This film kind of went under the radar for most people and was shipped directly to on-demand services, but what's surprising about this film is how well made it is for something that was never intended to be seen on the big screen. To be honest, Hell House never really strays too far from its driving paranormal mystery, mystery, and we're never fully given an explanation that diverges from the main cast perspective. But that's also why it kind of works. There's no exposition in this film at all, and that's the way it should be, and it convincingly captures the feeling of the unknown. By playing out as a slow crawl that gradually unravels in media res, what we get is a genuinely terrifying paranormal mystery that, if we suspend our disbelief, could just as well be real. Swinging in at number 2, The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Hey, letting all my heat out.
To be honest, this film could get on this list just for one scene in particular, and if you've seen The Taking of Deborah Logan, then you'll know exactly what scene I mean. If you've never seen this film, you've probably already seen the gif of it, because holy moly, that one's messed up. I don't say this lightly. The Taking of Deborah Logan is a really, really good horror flick, irregardless of the found footage genre. I think then that's part of the reason why it was dismissed. People were tired of the same old, and as soon as they heard the phrase found footage slapped onto it, they didn't give it the chance it deserved. But what they would have found is a convincing display of found footage horror at its best. Directed and co-written by Adam Robitel, The Taking of Deborah Logan follows a documentary crew who are making a research film on patients suffering from Alzheimer's. Their subject is Deborah Logan, an elderly woman with an aggressive form of the disease, but as the crew quickly realizes that prognosis is pretty far from being correct, and there's something much more sinister at work. One of my favourite parts of this film is Gavin, who, after finding out that there's ritualistic murders involved, he just straight up quits on the spot and leaves. I love it, and we never see him again. He's just straight up gone, living his best life. Remember guys, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie situation, be more Gavin. And finally, at our number 1 spot, The Tunnel. Holy moly, this film is ridiculously good. Equal parts thoroughly entertaining, convincingly made, and just straight up terrifying. Which makes it so much more impressive then that this is essentially a fan-made film, crowd-funded by selling individual digital frames for $1 a piece. Now, I will forgive most criticisms with this film, and to be honest, if you weren't a fan of the Blair Witch Project, then in all likelihood, you won't enjoy this. It is very unforgiving with its handheld sequences, there's a lot of disorientating shots, but I don't know about you, that's exactly what I want in found footage horror. I want to feel like I've stumbled upon a tape that shouldn't be seen. It's the reason why I believe found footage horror can be so effective when it's done right. It's not entirely what we see, it's the small moments of chaos that force our imagination to fill in the gaps. On top of that, we have an extra layer of exposition from the documentary sequence, allowing us to witness how the imminent threat ahead has already affected the survivors. What we get is a terrifying display of claustrophobic horror that seriously is edge of your seat stuff. Give this one a watch and then let me know your thoughts in the comment box down below, and maybe we'll have enough traction to pull off a part 3. Well, there we have it folks, but before we depart, let's read some of your most awesome comments from the past few days. John O'Connor says, would the Quarantine series fall under this genre? And Jack is definitely the man and the only reason that I keep coming back to this channel. Well, John my dude, thanks for the kind words, and I would definitely say that the Quarantine series falls under this genre, although I'd recommend the Rec series, the original Spanish versions too, which would have made this list, but we've covered it a bunch of times in other videos, kind of done to death. Still, it's awesome. Next up, Mr. Nobody says, why doesn't anybody ever mention the Poughkeepsie tapes? I found that movie to be an incredibly terrifying found footage film, but nobody ever really talks about it. Well buddy, you've got great taste, and the Poughkeepsie tapes actually made one of my most recent lists, top 5 horror movies that you missed, which may or may not be released by the time of this video's upload. Spooky, eh? Well, unfortunately folks, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Cheers for sticking around all the way to the end. As always, I've been your host Jack Finch. You've been watching top 5 scary videos, and until next time, you take it easy.